I'm rocking my Team Canada circa 2003 CCM Zellers special, and I'm in the mood for some World Junior Hockey. Hope you guys enjoy this 2021 World Junior Hockey preview. I got Tyler back with me. He's an expert on a lot of the junior players, and there's lots to talk about. Obviously Canada focused, but we touch on all the big countries: Russia, Finland, Sweden, the Americans. So hope you guys enjoy, and if you do, hit the subscribe button. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Scotian Canadian. Enjoy. Why don't we just start with giving you the groups and who will be facing off against each other in the round robin play.
Yeah.
Group A, we got Canada, Finland, Switzerland, Slovakia, and Germany. Now, looking at that, we got two very strong teams, obviously, Canada and Finland.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. But then after that, drops off a little bit. However, Switzerland and Germany are always a dark horse that tend to put up a really strong fight.
The Swiss, especially in junior, the Swiss have become an actual half decent team. I don't know if they're going to have to beat off Canada, but Slovakia is another team that go over the cup. I mean, the year that Joanne, I forget who was on the team, Mantha, Switzerland took Canada to a shootout that year. So this is a super easy division for Canada.
Yeah.
And it's almost a reversal of last year when Canada got stuck with the Russians and the Americans, and the other division was just essentially the Swedes and the Finns.
Yeah.
Now it's Canada and the Finns.
Yeah.
So
that's what you get for winning gold, right?
Well, exactly, and the way it slots out perfectly.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to come down to that New Year's Eve game against the Finns for first place.
That'll be a great night, that New Year's Eve game, Canada versus
There
Finland.
always are.
Yeah. Oh, every single New Year's Eve. It's become a tradition in Canada, really, to sit down and watch some quality World Junior Hockey.
I would make the argument the World Juniors has more eyeballs on it than the NHL playoffs.
Oh,
just because of what time of year it is.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Playoffs, especially in Canada, when the weather gets nicer, people, tend to try to get outside a little more.
Yeah.
But the World Juniors it's unbelievable what it means to Canadians. Like, it's crazy how much it's taken off.
Yeah, I got a lot of, memories with you watching hockey growing up.
Not going to school.
Yeah, skipping school for the early games when they're playing out in Europe. Making this logo back in grade
Junior
7.
High. Yeah. Mr. Farrell.
Yeah, in Tech Ed. Right in the heat of a World Junior tournament. Probably skipped class after it was finished to go watch some games.
Yeah.
So, and of course with my own family as well, watching the New Year's Eve games with my uncle, my father. It's, it's so much fun. Same thing for you, right?
Just the memories,
Hockey family.
It's just junior hockey at its finest. There's just nothing, it's not pros, it's junior hockey at its finest. Kids give up their holiday season to represent their country. There's nothing like it.
And it's incredible hockey too. The speed, the skill, and teams try to get their guys to play within a system, and the European teams do a pretty good job of getting guys to stick within that, but they're young, so you still get the mistakes when they're playing at that speed. So then you get a lot of back and forth hockey, and it's just so exciting to watch. The goalies always put on a fantastic show.
There's always, my goodness, you had Akil Thomas's goal. Then a couple of years back, you had Tyler Steenberg's goal against the Swedes. You had Eberle's goals. There's just so many. Luke Bourdon tying it up, and then Canada winning the shootout with Price to Taves' goals.
How about all the games where we play Russia, we take a massive lead to start, and then they battle back, or vice versa?
The year they won in Buffalo, we were up 3-0, and then I think who was our goal? I think it was Jake Allen that year, or no, Jake Vertain, or it was one of them. It was the guy from Mississauga. Anyway, good thing was the World Juniors. We had a lot of better memories of cool things like Sweden a couple of years ago, last year with the Russians. Everly with the Russians. It's just a cool tournament, and for Canadians, we all get to cheer for the same team for a change.
I know, right? It's
what I mean?
Weird, sitting on a couch being able to cheer at the same time when a specific team scores, right?
That's always fun.
Yeah. And the interesting thing this year, before we go into Group B, is we might see something similar to back in 2005 with that, a lot of stacked World Junior teams. It's not guaranteed yet, but with the NHL now being delayed into possibly, mid to late January, maybe February, some of these NHL teams might think twice and send their guys that are eligible to the teams.
I can't imagine Chicago bringing Chicago's Kirby Doc, I would imagine, staying regardless.
Right.
I think LA already said, I don't think I know, they already said Byfield staying regardless of what happens.
Big question would be Alex Lafreniere. If he
Lafreniere would be the question mark. Which, the way the Rangers are built right now, I can't imagine them saying, we're fine starting the season without you.
Right.
They're a team that's a playoff team. I can't imagine them doing that. But like I said, that's why if the NHL can just hold off to after this, there's no reason why, because Lafreniere hasn't played a hockey game since the Q shut down last year.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of these guys, right?
They need to play, right?
They
Same
need to
thing
play.
with Capo Caco for the Rangers, too. That's two high-level players for the Rangers that...
Exactly. And New Jersey could let Hughes go if they want to. I mean, he hasn't played a hockey game in a while, and he didn't really look NHL ready last year.
No, yeah.
So why not let him go rip up a World Junior, dominate a tournament?
Reunite him with Cole Caulfield. That'd be pretty interesting, right? So Group B, Russia, Sweden, USA, Czech Republic, and Austria. The top three is nasty there. Czech Republic's good in their own right.
I watched the Clara Cup. I want to say it was like a month ago now. It was the Russians, the Swedes, the Finns, and the Czechs. The Russians look good. Like, they walked away with that tournament. Askarov looked very good. He was not good in the World Juniors from last year. The Russians on the TV anyway, they just look like they did last year. Just big bodies that can skate, shoot the puck. They just look so much better than everybody else in that tournament.
Right.
Now, I'm not familiar with the Swedes. I don't know. I'm sure they didn't have Lucas Raymond or Holtz in that tournament because they play professionally over there. But the Russians looked very, very good. Thing is with the Americans, they're always going to have the hyped up names because they're going to have always have college superstars and all that. In my opinion, the Americans seem to underachieve in the World Juniors quite often. They're always, unless they win it, like the year against the shoot against Canada, and I mean, they sprinkle in a few other. The Americans, to me, just always seem to underachieve. That's the same with the Swedes. I don't think the Swedes have won, what was it? They're undefeated. They haven't lost a round robin game in I think it's like 40 games or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane.
And they just can't win a gold medal.
And it's clearly in their heads at this point because you see it in their faces
100%.
once they get into those rounds and it doesn't quite go their way. And
I can see their coach when their goals go in, like even Tyler Steamers, he just kind of looks back and has a smirk on his face, like And because they dominated Canada that game a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So Group B is definitely going to be a tough group to come out of.
And I think
there's going to be some interesting matchups.
USA to start that group.
It is, yeah. So Russia, USA
Christmas
on
Day.
Christmas Day.
That's going to be awesome. We should mention that Christmas Day to start this year.
Yeah.
So that's
starting on Christmas Day. So once you're done opening your presents, you got some quality hockey to watch.
Yeah, because from what I understand, all of Canada games are going to be 6 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. our time in Halifax. So that would be the So a lot of the games are going to be 1 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're going to have hockey all day because it's in a bubble. It's not 2 rinks.
Yeah.
Like it normally is. So it's going to be so awesome.
Yeah. Now, a bit of drama, though, with some Canadians testing positive for COVID. They've taken
whole camp.
Yeah. So they're taking a 2-week break, which is likely why they've decided to do that 6-week camp.
It's exactly why they did it.
So, it's good that they already had that kind of scheduled in their mind because they probably figured guys are going to have to quarantine and if this happens. But once they're in the bubble and they stay in there, it should be good to go.
The one problem with this whole thing with Canada, with the quarantine, is Canada had, I think it was 4 games against the U All-Stars. I think the U All-Stars were made up of Alberta and another Western college team. They're all scrapped now. They're not playing any of those games. Yeah. So that does, because I mean, other than essentially the Maritime kids, which I think is Lucas Cormier is on there, Justin Barron.
But he was injured for most of that.
Yeah, so those are the only guys that their team has played on a regular basis. And the Q teams, they've shut down. They went to a bubble for a little bit. So these guys, I'm telling, they're not having been on the ice for a while. So this training camp, losing those 14 days, because I don't know when they're scheduled to go back. I think it was last
There must
Monday
be about
something?
There must be.
I think there's still 7 days away. Yeah.
So
and to lose those exhibition games, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But
the head coach of Canada, Trigny, Alex Trigny. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's got a lot of work ahead of him and that coaching staff to really scout and figure out who they're going to play with. They haven't had much to base it off of. There wasn't any playoffs last year in the CHL, and even I'm fairly certain most of the American leagues stopped.
They would have all stopped when they happened.
Yeah. So and then not much hockey this year. So really, a lot of it's going to have to be based on past performance in tournaments in the U17s.
That's the one thing Canada does so well is they just track their players all the way from U17s when it's the 4 teams all the way to U18s. They track players. Andre Knordy too.
Russia's good for that.
Exactly. The little country shouldn't really have much of a problem with that. You wouldn't think.
Yeah.
The good thing is Andre Knordy's been on the staff for the last 3 years. I want to say.
Yeah.
So he knows the players. A lot of these guys. Well, 6 returnees too, right? Mercer, Cousins, Byfield, McMichael, Bone Byram, and Draisaitl. I like how it's 2 defensemen, 4 forward. Works out nicely. Weird thing is, though, 3 of the 5 goalies that are at camp are draft eligible this year.
Wow.
I thought that was quite crazy. The other 2 goalies are 4th and 7th round pick. Lafreniere's a big question. Their depth at center, though, this year, Canada, is absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. Mercer, Doc, Cousins, Byfield.
Yeah, that's insanely impressive.
Wonderful. Yeah. So
good luck matching up against that.
Exactly.
When they were running 4 lines.
They did a pretty good job on defense. They got 5 right-hand shots, 9 left-hand shots at camp. So we shouldn't have too much of an issue, trying to get the hands. The interesting thing to me, and I wish this camp wasn't shut down right now. I wish these games are going on because it's going to be the battle on the wings. That's just going to be... Because, there's going to be guys that are centermen, like, do you move Dylan Holloway to center? Do you move, like, Cole Perfetti to center? To wing, sorry. Move them from center to wing. It's going to be interesting. They just have so much talent, so much depth, this team. I think two pre-tournament games also we get to see. So they're going to be very, very big. And Canada was going to cut, I think, 7 or 8 people after the day after that COVID thing happened.
Wow.
Because they're going to have a game that afternoon. So the team looks loaded on paper anyway, but they don't play the games on paper.
Yeah.
And we always take for granted what the European teams are because we aren't familiar with them.
Yeah.
So that Russian team last year was a hell of a hockey team.
Oh my God.
Hell of a hockey team.
Yeah.
So,
I was incredibly stressed watching that game. Like I just had no idea how it was going to go.
No.
And then they just hung around, and that was an intense game. And
it was just the typical Canadian way.
They're just going to carry that forward.
Just,
and in the Canada-Russia series that they typically do every year, Russia's been dominating.
Well, that's another good thing too, because not just for the CR players, the CHL, like the O play against them, the Dub play against them, the Q play against them, but it's also good for the coaching staff to see the Russian players.
Yeah.
Because the Russian players that play in the KHL, the juniors, don't get a whole lot of ice time.
Right.
Right? So that's why they're always kind of a mystery around that team.
Yeah.
But we always know the skill that the Russians have is pretty elite right now too.
Yeah.
And they got the goaltender. That was always Russia's problem.
Yeah.
Do they have a goaltending? Askarov looks to be the real deal.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be super exciting.
Now, in terms of Canada, who I'm really excited to watch, first of all, Jamie Drysdale, recent Anaheim Ducks draft pick. He played for Canada the World Juniors last year. Absolutely love the way he plays the game, especially in the offensive zone. Once they get the cycle going, he can stop and start real quick. And he loves to challenge and just bring that puck into the center of the ice and bring it into the slot and take a shot. And he's got a fantastic shot getting that through. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Jamie Drysdale have an even bigger role with Team Canada this year. And then the next one would be Justin Barron. I think you mentioned there's not many right-handed shots in the camp.
He's one of them.
Yeah, he's one of them. So he's got, that'll help him out making the team. And it's another absolutely fantastic, offensively gifted defenseman.
Oh, he could skate like Justin Barron. I don't know how much on the radar is going to be because last year the blood call, all that. He's a Moosehead. We're familiar with the Mooseheads.
Yeah.
He's a Halifax boy.
The kid
can skate.
Yeah.
The kids can skate like the wind. It's unbelievable. I watched their red and white game before this all got shut down. They had 2. Him and Bowen Byram were up a unit on the power play together, which I thought was pretty cool. 2 Colorado draft picks and all that, which you would think would be a good sign for him.
Yeah.
Because you're not, if you're putting him right there with those guys, you're expecting, okay, hopefully that's where we want him to be.
Yeah.
So if he can sustain that, that's where he... So,
he's another guy who loves to pinch in and just skate past the blue line.
Yes.
Bring it right down below the goal line, skate around. Like he's
such a right here, such an, and he had a sick goal in that game too, when he came down, just picked top corner. Lucas Cormier, New Brunswick guy.
Yeah.
They have Spence from PEI. We have Alex Newhook and Mercer from Newfoundland, so the Maritime provinces are represented well. Alex Newhook plays for Boston College, one of Canada's last cuts last year. Moosehead draft pick. Didn't come here, went to BC.
Right.
Went to university. He's going to be, asked to be a big offensive producer. There's just so many, Lapierre, a couple years ago before he gets hurt, he's a top projected pick.
Yeah.
They just have so much talent. Can they put it together? It's an unbelievably talented group, though. Unbelievably. What I have here, 20 of the 27 forwards are first-round picks. Come on.
That is unbelievable.
And then what was the defensive
So by the
room
time
there?
they go through cuts here, the vast
First
majority
rounders
of their vast majority of their top 12 is
because if you have a second rounder who's a 19-year-old, right, who's a bigger body, who's willing to play the role and do the dirty stuff, but then 6 of their 14 defensemen are first round. So 26 of these guys are first round draft picks.
Yeah.
So the skill is
so you got a bit of a question mark in goal, and they're going to have
always a question mark for Canada, I feel like.
Yeah, they're going to have a tough time kind of
Joel
figuring out
Holford
who's going to be their starter.
Yes.
And like last tournament, they might not really have a starter until the gold medal game.
No, that's what.
You don't know, right?
The good thing is, I will say about this is Canada last year, none of their goaltenders were like Hockey Canada goaltenders. None of them. What was it? Dawes, who started off. He never played for Canada before in his life. and Joel Horford
What
come
a
in and was
performance from
awesome.
him last year, yeah.
Oh, awesome. I do know Tristan Lennox just from under 18s, under 17s. Like, he does have a reputation playing with Canada. I know Taylor Gauthier also does.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the other goaltenders from U18s or anything from just watching them on TSN, but I know those two have played for Team Canada.
Right.
So that's a little bit
Might
better.
have their shoe in there,
yeah, exactly, than last year.
So now I would obviously Canada's going to be one of the favorites in this tournament, coming off a gold medal win last year.
Mm-hmm.
All the experience that they have, that we've just gone through, what their lineup looks like. But after Canada, who's another team that you would expect to be?
Well, I think the Russians are going to be right there.
Yeah.
I think the Americans. This helps the Americans to a certain extent because watching a lot of college hockey league, I didn't realize how many of these college rinks are international ice. Like it's to me, it was kind of baffling.
Yeah.
But I think the smaller ice will help the Americans because I think the Americans are really underwhelming considering their talent that they had last year's World Juniors. So I think look for them to have a big year.
I'm pumped to see Cole Caulfield play for the Americans this year. He wasn't utilized well at all.
No, they just were not a good
tournament.
Yeah, last year they had so much. They were a team like the year that we had Scheifele, we had that super team, and we didn't win a medal.
Yeah.
We lost, I think it was in Sochi, Russia. That's what the Americans were last year. They just had so much talent, so much NHL talent, but they just couldn't put together. I feel like that's always the Americans' problem. But, I mean, the Americans, Swedes, I mean, Mason Raymond, Alexander Holtz is there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if they get those two guys, I mean, my goodness, that's a lot of goals right there.
Yeah. And you got Nick Robertson for the Leafs playing for the Americans.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be there. It all depends on when this all starts, because I don't know how. I think Toronto would intend to have him at camp and all that.
Yeah. I'd love to see him make it just so we can have the Cole Caulfield Robertson debate through the World Juniors.
Robertson was really good in the World Juniors last year. I think he probably was one of the top leading scorers for the Americans in the World Juniors last year. You know what? Honestly, I hope they get other players back. I hope they let Hughes go. I hope Robinson does go. I hope them all go. Just the better. The more the better. It would be awesome for the tournament. The Finns too. They're just pesky. You just never know what to get the Finns. They're just one of those countries that really nobody. They have Atu Radi. He could be a top 2, top 3 pick this upcoming.
They always find themselves.
They always have goaltending
games at the end, and
they just play
come out on top.
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
Their nation has a system. They play it to a T, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
But Canada, it's all going to come out. Canada, Finland, or New Year's Eve. You win that, you get the 4th place team in Pool B. So we should win our quarterfinal match.
Yeah.
But then when you get to the semis, you're looking at either the Swedes, the Russians, the Americans, and the Finns.
Yeah,
right, the Czechs.
It's real interesting.
Yeah, so
it's gonna be fantastic. It'll be nice to get hockey back on our TVs, and
lots of it too.
A ton of it. Yeah,
we're gonna have a game. It's gonna be like the return of the player for hockey. We're gonna have a game on every.
Yeah, because they're in the bubble, they're on the same surface, so we're going to have to, pump them out real quick. So really looking forward to that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button down below the video and the subscribe button as well. Cheers, guys. Go Canada, go!
Yeah.
You may have noticed the new additions to the set here. That is because Tyler and I also filmed an in-depth video on the potential Canadian division. I know a lot of people have been asking for it. It is coming. So keep an eye out for that. Cheers, guys.